Good evening. My name is Skye Flanigan. I am here at the Venture Cafe. We're in the Venture Cafe studio with Olivia Dufour.
Yes.
Olivia, I would love for you to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Skye. Yeah, my name is Olivia Dufour. I'm originally from Montreal. I've been here for 4 years now. I came for MassChallenge. So yeah, I've been in Startup Land for a few years.
Startup Land. And tell us a little bit about your experience at MassChallenge.
Yeah. So we came here, the first time I visited Boston was for the first pitch, and we were so nervous, so impressed by MassChallenge and $1 million, and I don't know, it was so crazy, and we were so excited. So we came here.
And how did you even hear about MassChallenge?
Yeah, so when I think about this part of the story, like my co-founder then just saw an ad on Mashable, and then he clicked on the link, and then we applied. But you know, like when you just have an idea, you see like this $1 million prize and this like the world's biggest like competition, and we were so skeptical that we would get in. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So you apply and you don't think anything, and then yeah, next thing you know is that you go there, you pitch a few times, and we got in. So, and then your life changes because you move countries. Like we left everything behind. Like the entire team moved to the US for MassChallenge, and I left my cat, like everything.
How many people were on the team?
So at this point we were 4, and so it was me, my co-founder was like more product design, and then 2 developers. So
I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about the organization that you were pitching at MassChallenge.
Yeah, so Goodify, the first name was InVup. So Goodify, so software as a service for companies to manage all of their good doings. So we used gamification for just to make a game out of doing volunteer work and recycling and donations. All of these good intentions that usually are not properly managed or tracked, they're not rewarded. So basically, it just ends up being another chore for employees, and everyone is so busy that you don't think about this if it's not really fun, right? If it's not fun and social. So we created this platform for them to track their good actions and then get rewarded for it, and we connected it on social media so that companies would get social recognition for their good actions. So basically, by getting more benefits for doing good, you would do more good in society, right? So companies give like 15 or 16 billion dollars every year to charities, but we don't know about it. So yeah, we wanted to make more sense out of this great industry, and then so I did that for 3 years. We won MassChallenge, so that was great. We won like 15 business plan competitions, so we were good in this department when it came to like competitions because we were so passionate.
I want you to tell me a little bit more about that passion. Where did it come from? What was it about this specific niche of a market that really got you so excited?
I guess it was like I really care about the environment. To me, like the environment is all we have. You know, like it's the air we breathe and it's the water we drink, and it's crazy that we don't consider it more than that. And I was trying to find a way, like an angle to like impact this, and I thought that companies like had such a big impact and potential to do more. And then you look a little bit into it and you see the numbers, but the numbers didn't match with the resources that HR managers were left with to manage these programs. They had like match giving programs and like really cool initiatives, but that were really just like a smoke show, right? Just to look good, but because they had nothing to manage it, it was not really impactful. So you know, like you go to a company and then you see like the paper thermometer, and like that's crazy that they're donating money right now and we're tracking it on paper, but like our customers and our employees don't know about like the check that we just gave, or the steps that we're doing today, and like. Your watch is a good example of that. I mean, today we can track all of these cool things that we do much more easily because tracking can also be like tedious, right? So the goal was to create this platform that makes it so much fun to track and then do challenges with employees and Like a company could set up like a reward, like the most generous employee could go play golf with the CEO, you know, like fun things like that. So that philanthropy would become fun. So that the passion came from realizing that they were trying to do so much and they could do so much more, but yet they had like the worst resources to do so.
So it sounds like there was this very big lack of showing what companies can actually do and what they are doing, and you found this niche and you found this business plan that would really push the ball forward. And it also sounds like you did a really good job by letting the world know that that's what you needed.
Yep.
And by going forward with MassChallenge, and congratulations, of course, on winning. So I'm curious, what happened after MassChallenge? Where did you take this?
Yeah. So we thought that MassChallenge would change our lives, right? So we really thought that if we win with MassChallenge, like our life would be like amazing. And the truth is that when it comes to winning competitions or even raising money, like nothing is magical. And if you get any of this traction, it just, like the minute anything happens, it just increases the scale of the challenge in front of you, right? So nothing is ever won. Like in Startup Plan, it's like your to-do list is never done, right? You're never done. Even when you go IPO, like now you have shareholders to answer to. It's just another set of challenges. So after that, I guess because we had worked so hard, we were in the office all the time, like seriously, like sleeping there, like sleeping under the desk, and so many times like looking at the sunrise, like it was beautiful. At this time, like there were no towers around MassChallenge, so you would see like the view was amazing, so that was great. But nevertheless, it was like, you know, like when you're running on adrenaline and you don't realize that you're tired, you know, like you've been like cranking for so long, and I'm like, it was my first startup, and I didn't realize the importance of balance. Like, I had no social life, I was not working out, you know what I mean? Like all these things, like looking back, it's like, man, like you're 23 years old, like you need to.
It sounds like you're trying to run a business to become sustainable, but you weren't able to sustain yourself.
Oh yeah, so true. Yeah, exactly. I needed the tool that that we were building. So after that, we then raised a round in Montreal with a software company that had like a lot of resources. There were about 60 people, so a lot of great developers and designers. So they did a strategic investment because they themselves were doing a lot of donations and cool like volunteering events to keep people engaged, and it really worked. So they were like the perfect example of a company that did it well. And they saw the solution that we were building, and they were like, we would use this, and so we think that other companies should use it. We have capital that is not being used, right? So we didn't go the traditional angel route or VC route, even though we did meet with some VCs, but you know, like it was a fun, fluffy concept, and it wasn't like a big data, like you know, like it didn't like check all the boxes that they were looking for. But this company, it's interesting. I would encourage startups when you're trying to raise money, like if you're doing healthcare. Well, pharmaceutical companies here have so much capital that they could invest, right? So it's worth it to have discussions with them, and they can become amazing strategic partners. Not only for capital, but for thought leadership, distribution, like all of these like amazing things that you need. So the cool thing is that when they finalized the investment, then we doubled the size of the team. We had great talent, and we moved in their offices. So again, like it was a turnkey deal. It was very smooth. But then with that came other challenges in terms of losing control, because it's basically we got acquired, right? Because they took over the company and this investment. So at this time, I didn't know the difference, right?
Yeah.
But if they're basically the team now and they make the investment and they sign the checks and you are in their offices, you're part of their company now. And their vision was really to stay, to keep the entire team in Montreal, but the market wasn't there. So we were not hitting the numbers in terms of traction. So I decided to come back to Boston, and then my co-founder at this point was more technical than me, was closer. He had a better leadership with the team because they were really on the technical side. We didn't invest in business development. We thought that the product was so great that that people would find it, fall in love with it, and that magically we would make money. And there are two problems with this. The first one is that we were not solving a real problem. It was a cool idea, but it was a vitamin, not a painkiller. And then the other thing is that even if you have an amazing product, you still need to be where your clients are. These people are going to sign big checks, and they expect you to be there for them. Even if you don't need to be there. It's just an expectation, and that's how the enterprise market is. It's a really long sales cycle. It's so different than consumer. So we didn't know that. So a lot of lessons learned there. And then, so I left the team in November 2012, 3 years after we founded the company. And then November 2012, the day after, I got an offer to join NTT Data, so a Japanese IT company from Japan, so 60,000 people.
Wow.
Really large company, a really big startup. And that was another set of challenges. It was working from home, so that was different. Most of the team was in India. So.
And were you here in Boston at that point?
Yeah. I went to India. I traveled the world with them. It was amazing in that sense. And communication is so different, just the culture, the production cycles are very different. And then we were trying to infuse the gamification principles in the enterprise market, and they had really big clients like Bank of America, State Farm, Toyota, really big companies. But again, same challenge. CIOs, when they go to bed, they're not over obsessing about how to make internal tools easier to use or more beautiful, more sleek. That's just not what they care about. So even though we had a lot of buy-in internally, the market was just not there. So they're still using tools from SAP, Oracle, and have you ever used those?
A little bit, and I know that they're not that innovative.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you use them and you're it's really someone is trying to mess up with your mind. It's so bad and so complicated that it's hard to think that there was actually a designer behind this. But, the market decides, right? So, yeah.
So you left that company?
Yep. Mm-hmm. 2 years after.
2 years after, and what are you doing now?
Okay, so I worked at Intrepid. I worked at Intrepid for a few months recently, right in Kendall Square, doing product strategy. So doing mobile apps, iOS and Android. They're an amazing company. Mark Asdorf is the best boss in the world, and I miss them so much. But I'm an entrepreneur, I've been doing consulting for 2.5 years, and I'm just not built to be an employee. Yeah.
What is it that you love about entrepreneurship?
Oh, it's the most beautiful disease. It's like an obsession with fixing things, and just you really want to help people and find this angle to make something different that has never been done before, and just have an impact, right? We all want to be important in different ways, and some people when they see their kids smiling and being happy and growing and learning things, that's the entire world. It's such an amazing impact, and other people they want to just build code that will help this person fix this problem. And so, like, thank God that we're not all entrepreneurs, like, because the world would be so dysfunctional. But I realize now that when I think about a solution for a problem, every solution at first can be poked in so many ways, right? Any idea that I tell you now, you can shut it down. You'll find a way, right? I mean, if it's such a great idea, why won't Google or Facebook build it, right?
Yeah.
Like, why not? But entrepreneurs, we are delusional enough to think that we can run fast enough to build something differently and just like reach people and develop a relationship with your customers in a way that other companies can't. And yeah, I realize this now because when I talk about different ideas, because I have ideas all the time, right?
Yeah.
And then you talk about it with your friends, and then some people are so cynical. And it's fine, you know, because you need like these like reality checks sometimes, right? And you need other people to challenge you like all the time. Like that's essential. But somehow like the entrepreneur moving forward with the idea needs to be hopeful that this is gonna work, right? You need to believe in it so hard. So right now, I feel like I'm on a mission. Like I dream about it. When I go to bed, I think about it. I walk, I think about this. It's definitely obsessive. So.
And do you know what your next venture is gonna be?
Yeah. Okay, so in the last 2 years, I was doing also another company. I was making mobile apps with Pink Kiwi, my second company. So choose your own adventure with text messaging together. And going back to like kind of being more pragmatic, basically I saw that text messaging was really big, right? People are texting all the time, and people are used to being able to control things and have an impact. And I just saw that traditional books, like if you read a book, you cannot impact the story, right? Like you're reading, but you're not shaping the story. So basically, this concept of choose your own adventure with text messaging. So I did that for the last 2 years, and I'm still working on it. We have a new partner now, and it keeps going. You know, like it's amazing. It makes money, and like people download it and love it. So, but I don't need to invest much more time in it. So when I was 10 years old, I started this fashion company called Vinveli. And I wanted to be a fashion designer, so I studied fashion marketing when I was in college. So that was my first passion.
Yeah.
But then I realized, I was like, oh, you know, like fashion is trivial and like it won't change the world, and software is amazing because it's scalable and like it's so big. Look at Facebook, $1 billion company, and you get so excited and it becomes like this big lottery, right? You're like, oh my god, like we could build like an app, and like you think that you can like make it big so quickly, and I don't know, you have this vision that it's so attainable, yet it's so hard. So I had this idea, I would say like in June of this year. I was looking at the market for women lingerie, underwear, and there's a really, really big gap right now. You on one hand you have dull, boring, comfortable, kind of, you know, like Fruit of the Loom, Hanes, jogging, you know that.
Of course. Okay. Who doesn't know it?
And then at the other end you have fun, sexy, but objectifying, tacky, demoralizing. With Victoria's Secret, obviously, that is totally dominating the market. So we're telling women that sexy means to be submissive and naive and kind of like a college girl, pink angel, and that's the message that we have, right? So you start your day, and every day women get dressed, right? There are a few things that we do every day so we get dressed, we eat, we transport ourselves and work, and So definitely I realized that fashion can be a vehicle for a message, right? But I didn't see these possibilities before. And I would say that some of the companies that inspired me are companies like Tom Shoes, or or like even Alex and Annie, like a small company, and they're
So
growing, and like just by adding like energy and love and like this kind of story layer around like a product.
Yeah, make something that matters.
Yeah, exactly. You make some, like you give meaning to something.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's crazy. That the most intimate piece that you're wearing, like the most personal thing that you wear, is so artificial, cheap, and demoralizing. And it's always done either to cover something and to like forget about your sexuality, or it's made for someone else, right?
Right.
To please like these like ideals that are totally built for men, and that put this kind of unhealthy pressure on ourselves. Like we're not Victoria's Secret angels. Like we're amazing and we're sexy in different ways, but it's like it's just like it creates so many problems, because if you're told that the way to channel your energy is to be kind of cute and submissive and naive, how the hell do you expect women to go and negotiate their salary and lead a board meeting? Like, how do we expect that? It's such a disconnect. And so in my life, I've been told a few, and I'm sorry, I'm not sure if it's appropriate for the interview, but that I'm very sexual and I'm very confident too. And I'm like, these two things are totally linked together, because
they're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, because it's a physical energy thing, you know. It's like I'm not like when you're a young woman, like it's like you have to be ashamed of your body and your sexuality, and it's like our society, we've given up on that part of ourselves. We just assume like men are sexual, you know, like men. It's like we've given up on this part, and it can be such. It is a power, and it affects other areas of our lives. And I'm not saying that it's magical and that it's but I want this to be part of the solution. So I'm designing a line right now of underwear, so starting with panties. And there will be a very nice story layer, so empowering messages printed inside the panty, with amazing art on them to really like turn women on so that they can channel their unique feminine powers and go after their dreams. So that's what I'm doing.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us, because you are a very inspiring woman.
Thank you.
And we need more entrepreneurs like you to stand up for women, and B, stand up for their passions and their dreams. And I think that realistically, learning lessons and going through the different things that you've gone through, and just taking everything with a grain of salt, but also learning and moving it forward is such a powerful part of the experience. And so I thank you so much for sharing with us.
Yeah.
And I wish you luck. And
Thank you.
have absolutely zero doubt in my mind that you will not succeed in whatever venture you go forward with.
Great.
So thank you so much, Olivia.
Thank you, Skye.